Nice. Real nigga conditions.
Yo, Jay, how you feeling, bruh?
Feel good, man.
I feel good too, fam.
Alright. I think we're gonna get started. Alex, we're gonna start going. Okay, cool. Yeah. So can you turn down the music then? Oh, I turn it down? Yeah. Alright. Moving Target Podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, man.
Yes, indeed.
What a weekend.
We back.
What a weekend. It's crazy, man, because so for everybody out of town, not from Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut, you might have even heard nationwide that the neo-Nazi groups were going to be organizing nationwide.
So hold up real quick, Jay. I just want to say, and we want to say, a big shout out to everybody that's been hitting up Moving Target.
Word,
everybody that liked the page, everybody that's putting in work with us, man. We love y'all, we appreciate y'all, and we do it for us.
And make no mistake about it, that's what we do this for. I mean, the one motivation is because it's for the people. And Rem and I have been doing work for years, since we were young, since we were kids for the most part. And it's always been for the people. So this is definitely for the people, bringing you insight, information, and even entertainment that is for the people. And, we really do appreciate everybody who liked the page, everybody who followed it, everybody who commented and shared it. It's not something we would rather more positive news, but at the same time, you don't know what narrative is going to be flipped and what narrative is going to be spinned. So it's important for us to be able to change that narrative and bring it to you the way it actually goes down, for what's actually going on.
Facts.
We'll do our best to make sure that we are completely informed, but at the same time, we are not the end-all be-all. Please do your own research. Correct us if need be.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, moving forward, we had a rally here in New Haven, Connecticut, where apparently neo-Nazis were supposed to be coming downtown. Now, before we even get into did Nazis show up, did the KKK show up, before we even get into that, there's a couple things that I know I want to address. Rem, you want to address? We have Barbara Fair, who's going to be coming in, who is also with us.
Mother Barbara Fair.
Mother Barbara Fair. But before we even get into that, there's a couple things that people were putting all over Facebook and social media and commenting. One of which was, did the KKK even show up? Was there even any Nazis? What'd y'all go down for? There wasn't even any Nazis. Was there even any Nazis? This is one question I keep hearing. So I'm going to ask this. Before we even get to that, and we'll answer that. Some of y'all already know, but we want to go in more detail of who it was. But before we even get into that, of was there any Nazis? Were you ready?
Were you ready?
Were you ready? That's really the question that I want to know. Whether there was or not, were you ready if there was? Were you really able and ready to mobilize? Were you already strategizing before they would come? Because best believe they're out there. So before we get into that, there's something I do want to set the show off with. Rem, thank you for reminding me. We have breaking news coming out of Ohio. It's actually Columbus, Ohio. It's actually a family member of Rem. R.I.P. to cousin Kareem Ali Nadir Jones.
Nadir Jones, y'all. It's my family out in Columbus, Ohio. And unfortunately, this past Friday afternoon, he had a situation with the police and was encountered by two police officers, and they shot him in his back twice, shot him in the back of the neck twice, shot him in the back of his arm.
Hands were up.
They turned him over when he was on the ground. He was pleading for his life, and they shot him in the face, y'all. This is what we living with.
So this has not been picked up by mainstream media. You know, they cherry pick of when they want to expose these things. This has not been picked up by mainstream media, so we want to make sure it's known. Hashtag justice for Kareem. Please hashtag that and look into the story. We have the guest coming on later on in the show that's going to be talking about what happened to her. That's her uncle, right?
That's her cousin.
That's her cousin. Okay, so that's her cousin.
My cousin Clara B. Willis. My cousin Clara Willis. She's gonna come on and talk with us at about 9 o'clock and just let us know, because what we don't want to happen is we don't want to let it escape us. This is real life events, and we got this somewhat comfortability that we get comfortable because sometimes it don't touch us firsthand. But my cousin was just gunned down by police officers, yo, and now it's touching me firsthand. It has in the past, and it's touching us all over again firsthand. So
right.
This is what we got to deal with.
So let's just make sure that, so please tune in a little later on in the show around the 9 o'clock at the end of the hour, top of the 9 o'clock. So right at 9, we're going to come in with Clara B. Willis, and we're going to actually talk to her about what happened to Kareem. So, yeah, my condolences to the family and what everybody is dealing with right now, because I know it's tragic. We also have special guest Orisha coming in, so I know she's going to definitely be very involved with that as well, that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So before we even get into, putting that out there, and I want to make sure everybody is very well aware of that, I want to get back to the situation. So again, before we ask the question, were the Nazis even there? I asked the question to you. Were you ready if they were?
And that's kind of rhetorical, but
no doubt, because you could easily say I'm ready, but are you? Oh, so what you ready with? Anger? Because I'm gonna tell you, they're ready with preparation. They're ready with strategy. You know what I'm saying? So were you ready? That's really the question. But was it Nazis? No, it wasn't Nazis.
Wasn't the KKK.
It was not the KKK. However, make no mistake about it, if you think the Proud Boys, which is who it was, are not affiliated with neo-Nazism, you're sadly mistaken. Don't be fooled. Please don't be fooled. Look into who the Proud Boys are. We're going to get into who they are and who found them. All right, but before we do that,
and again, we're telling you first-hand factual information you're getting right now. We're telling you, if you wasn't in New Haven, if you wasn't down on the green, we were there, and we're giving you first-hand information of what happened and who exactly was down there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say this. When we first got there, as you saw in the videos, I didn't know who the group was. Antifa, the one with the masks.
Antifa.
Antifa.
We heard it. It also, the groups also go by the name of Surge, or something to that nature.
So Antifa is this anti-fascist group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly when they began to come about, but I will say that in Europe, they're going crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you talk about violating somebody's rights, what happened downtown, the poor boys, I mean, the Proud Boys, their rights were violated. Bottom line. Their rights were they had a right to stand out there and do what they wanted to do, protest what they wanted to protest,
regardless to who they were.
Doesn't matter.
Regardless to who they were, they definitely didn't come down there with an attack, with a violent attack. We'll say that. Even if their words they wanted to use words that would have been an attack on a lot of us and things of that nature, they weren't violent in the physical nature.
But the Antifa group is known for this. They're known to do exactly what they did downtown. All right? So that's the first group I saw. I saw Natalie Alexander, who I learned of who she was the day of the event. Somebody tell me, what work has she done in the community? I don't know.
Because she's supposed to be a community organizer. We know that.
I've never seen her work. This is the first time I've seen her work, when she organized these people. Now, this Antifa group, again, I don't know them, but for some reason, almost all of them have Black Lives Matter Signs.
So first when we get downtown, now we're getting downtown and we're ready for this quote unquote KKK neo-Nazi people. We're looking for this group and who who are they? So we're trying to find them. So we counted the Antifa group, and they got on a sign on the ground, a big long sign on the ground that says "Welcome to Hell." Faces tied up. They out here and they ready to make moves. They ready to do things. So we're counting these men and women that were mostly European men and women, and
they had the Pride flag. They had the Black Lives Matter. I didn't see no Antifa flag. So I want to make sure it's clear that we were not there with them. I want to make that clear.
For real.
That wasn't our fight. And we weren't even there to go against. We wanted to make a presence known that we're there to get information, that we're there, we're not fearing them. You know what I'm saying? But we were not there with the Antifa group.
And if you're down there with any type of hate, I mean, we're letting it be known. If you was down there with any type of hate that is not welcome, and you're gonna meet the opposition, you're gonna meet resistance to all that hate and all that ignorance.
So now they're rehearsing what they're gonna say, and they're getting all amped up, ready for this, for the KKK neo-Nazis to come. And then when the Proud Boys got out their truck, they did nothing but hold the flag. Now, here's one thing I will say. The flag seemed to represent hate that America stands on. America's built off of hate.
It was an American flag.
It was an American flag.
The flag they were holding was the American flag.
And that is what ignited them to say, there go the Nazis. So for the first time, I've been able to see, even to white people, the flag represent the hate that it actually is built off, that America's built off of. And that's what ignited everything. So they rushed them. They rushed the Proud Boys. And that's when chaos broke out. That's where the chaos broke out. It was all Antifa.
They were rushed. They were pelted with paintballs.
I think one of them got popped in the face.
Things were thrown on them. And not for nothing. See, the thing, it becomes this. If you're going to these events or these rallies, let's say, and you're there to protest against savagery, against hate, and these are the things that this group was supposed to be standing for. They were a hate group, supposedly. They was KKK / neo-Nazi. This is who they were going down in the protest against. How do you then turn around and become exactly what you're supposed to be protesting against?
And that's what I'm learning about this Antifa group. They do that.
That's what they do.
They're just as bad. Absolutely. They find out who is far right, who's alt-right, who's a Proud Boy, who's affiliated with neo-Nazis, and then they end up doing exactly what we saw. But make no mistake about it. I saw a lot of people say, a lot of people were saying, well, was it even Nazis? It was Proud Boys, okay? But if you do the research on their group, they were founded by Gavin McInnes. Okay? Gavin McInnes.
Who's Gavin McInnes?
Gavin McInnes founded the Proud Boys, which is affiliated with neo-Nazi groups. You could look this up. But he's also founder of Vice Media.
Vice Media, y'all.
He's the head of Vice Media. And this man is racist. Look him up on YouTube. I want to pull up a clip real quick.
So anybody that has cable, if you go through his show is on HBO. It's called Vice News. And
no, they know Vice.
They know Vice.
They know
a lot of people know Vice.
All y'all know Vice. And let me ask you this. Have you seen one Vice show that was highlighting the success and upward mobility of black people? Or have you seen nothing but sad images depicted?
Always sad.
Always. Now I want you, this is the owner. This is the founder of the Proud Boys and the owner of, or the founder also of Vice Media. This is who.
When you stop complaining about the past and just move forward? When is something not everyone else's fault? Ever heard of culpability? Why don't you fix your own fucking life?
Because you didn't fix yours. You did not fix yours. You destroyed mine to fix yours.
No, I never touched your fucking life, you loser. Go get a job. Go do something. Stop bitching about other people. It makes you look...
So that's the owner of Vice Media, who founded the Proud Boys, who has very strong affiliations with the neo-Nazism. And I watch them. The reason why I like to look at a lot of that stuff is because you see they let you know what they're trying to do. So make no mistake about it. The Proud Boys have affiliations to neo-Nazism. You could look that up, and then you look up Gavin McInnes. But the Antifas, the Antifa, whatever the hell that group, anti-fascist group, they're the ones that acted like savages that day.
So now what ends up happening is because a lot of us are somewhat mixed in the melee of what took place, and we are down there to protest against hate, protest against these different things, the ignorance and the savagery. I like that word, savagery, if anybody can tell, really do. We're down there to to speak out against that. And you got a lot of different people that end up, getting into altercations with the cops, and you're just caught up in the melee. So once again, Jay posed the question, were we ready? Are we ready? What's going on? When we go to these different type of rallies and different things like that, how are we moving? What's on our minds, man? Because this is a serious problem for somebody. So what we also found out was that the New Haven police got word that the KKK was going to be downtown.
It was a rumor.
It was a rumor.
And it was given to fellow officers. However, that leaked out. And before you know it, the term K. And the reason why I think neo-Nazism, I think Nazis got put out there was because the Proud Boys are known to be affiliated with Nazis, with the neo-Nazi group. Don't think they don't exist. See, that's the one thing I want to... Listen, I heard a lot of talk about where the gangsters at. Where were all the thugs and all these other gangbangers and all that other stuff? Where were they at? I don't know about you, but I didn't expect all of a sudden the spirit of Fred Hampton to hop into everybody and they're here. I didn't expect that. So I didn't expect to see anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's almost a pointless argument to even make. However, I also don't think that it's helpful to be criticizing those that did show up. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that.
Not at all. I mean, it's the whole thing is counterproductive. The whole thing that we got to gather out of this is that we need to start moving as a people, man. Like real talk, we need to start moving as one. We can't afford, we can't afford to be. You got different of these groups that are mobilizing. They got people that are, if this man McInnes, if he's the founder of Vice Media News, and he is also the co-founder of the Proud Boys, again is affiliated with neo-Nazis, these people are coming. They strategize.
The strategy. Look at that strategy. You got somebody who is affiliated with neo-Nazism that is right now the head of Vice Media, a very huge media platform.
Right.
That's strategy. That's strategy.
Right.
And if you look at the programming that they do, it makes sense. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That is strategy. We need our own networks. You know what I'm saying? We got to really look at the sign of the times.
Yes,
and that's the thing that I don't feel we're doing. I don't feel we're really looking at we bickering about bullshit, number one. You got one side of saying, oh, y'all went there for what reason?
Right.
What'd y'all go there for? You know what I'm saying? And just clowning people that went.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you're like, well, why didn't y'all come?
Right.
We're bickering and going back and forth, and yet at the same time, they ready.
They ready.
They got schools. Listen, they in Wallingford. I think they were recruited somewhere in the thousands in Wallingford. Let me ask you this: what message did it show that nobody was there? Like, if the Proud Boys came down, went to their alt-right neo-Nazi groups and was like, listen, we went to New Haven, and nobody showed up. So we might be pretty good just down there. I didn't see much of a presence.
Or the ones that did show up, they looking at the Antifas and trying to, put everybody, clump everybody. Oh, that's who's showing up? There was no show up for. Listen, we got everybody that we get fresh. We going to the Future concerts. We going to see this person when they come to Toe's place. Everybody, we all turned up, and we're not knocking nobody for necessarily what they do. But again, we reaching out and we saying, listen, what's the priority, man? Like, what's the priority for our children?
So let's take this as a wake-up call. Let's stop the bickering. We're done. We're past that. Okay? Okay, no Nazis showed up. The Proud Boys showed up. Little Nazi foot soldiers, I guess you could call them. All right? We passed that. So now, What are y'all ready to do? Let's take this as a wake-up call. How much more signs do we need to point towards the course of action that we need to take? I'm talking about from our music culture. We got signs pointing towards the actions we need to take. From our political climate, we got signs pointing towards the action that we need to take. To right here on our front door. See, and that's the thing that I'm getting. If it was neo-Nazis, we look crazy.
Look crazy.
We don't even look ready. They look like we can come to their city anytime we want.
And it's no problem.
It's no problem.
And it's no problem.
They're not going to say nothing. I guarantee you if there was even word of that happening in somewhere like, New York, Chicago, Philly, there would be a strong presence of black people there letting them know, listen, do what you're going to do. Just know we here. But what message did we send? And listen, just as much as we had people that were there with us, we had other people working out in the community at the same time. That's how we can ride. Brother Bourne and CTRBG were feeding the babies. For those young kids that have to, go to the store to get honey buns, instead they can go there and get breakfast.
Get a breakfast.
Meanwhile, you got brothers out there getting that word, getting that information, and standing at the front line. What's wrong with that? That's the whole thing that I'm looking at. We want to bicker back and forth. We want to clown each other, and we keep on. Listen, we need to own our own media. We see that when we look at how they're strategizing. We need our own networks.
Yo, one of the biggest things, and that's so important, because one of the biggest things they did when they started letting people of color be on TV and be heard through music like on a massive level, one of the biggest things they did was depict us in always in a pitiful way, always exploiting us. Like they say, Denzel didn't win an Oscar till what? Till he played the savage behind, crazy behind cop. Then they wanted to give him an Oscar. The black women, what they did with Halle Berry. She don't get nothing until she popping her breast out of her shirt and all these different they straight exploiting us. They straight clowning us. And the Willie Lynch letter said, whether he's factual or not, the ideology of it, the Willie Lynch letter said, if you follow my indoctrination of these people of color, if he told the white slave masters, if you follow my indoctrination of slavery to these people of color, they will do it to themselves. And
so we're here. Perpetual slavery, psychological enslavement. We're here. Let's take a step back right now. Let's really look at ourselves. Honestly, I'm so tired. I've been looking on social media this whole weekend, looking at so much criticism coming from both sides. Let's take a step back and look at how much time we wasted doing that. Brother Bourne had a strategy meeting. How many showed up to that? He put it out. I know some of y'all follow him. How many actually are really ready to put the day party aside and say, you know what, today I think I need to hook up with brothers and sisters and start trying to figure out how we gonna mobilize, right? So my part, and I think I speak for Rem on this as well,
no question,
is the media platform, not just news media, but entertainment. I want to be able to change the narrative. That's what we want to do here. So with that being said, we need to think about having our own network, y'all. For real. Why is that so hard to believe? For us to be able to have a network where we are one hub of network. You got ratchet shit, you got some conscious shit, you got some hip hop, you got all that, but it's our media. We own it. We're in the day and age where we can do that. But for some reason, we have to rely on corporations telling us where we're to find this news, where are we to find this information and to be entertained. Vice Media Group, this whole time I've been watching it, I had no idea a racist was at the head of it.
Right.
Sumner Redstone owns Viacom. I mean, the list goes on of the people that own the networks that are feeding us these images that eventually affect our way of viewing things, a way of viewing ourselves.
Right.
So let's take a step back and see, what are we doing? How are we responding to the signs that are being given to us? I mean, we take out the music and we act like the music ain't got nothing to do with the sign of the times. For our culture, it does. Music was always the soundtrack.
Right.
Just as much as Harlem Renaissance was going on and all the things going on with racism in there, you had Billie Holiday. You understand what I'm saying? Just as much as you had civil rights era going on, you had James Brown setting the tone, being the soundtrack. Who do we have in our era? We got 2 albums out right now that are setting the time of what we are dealing with and where we need to go. And that's Kendrick's Damn and Jay-Z's 444. And how do we respond to it?
This is long-range comprehensive planning. That's what this is. Because the people that came before us that enslaved us, the people that came before us that enslaved us, they didn't do their plan for right then in those times. They were doing their plans that was affecting us for today. That was affecting their children today. The leadership roles, the authority to say you hired, you fired, you could get this, you can get that, you can't get this. That's what it's about, y'all. It's not necessarily even about us.
I want to just shout out everybody that's tuning in right now. Tanisha Bundy said we were conditioned to be divided. Our community cannot function unless it's dysfunctional. And that's the truth. Because you know what? Let me tell you, I'm tired of the exploitation of black struggles and black stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
That cannot be the platform of our content every goddamn time. Every time we want to have a topic or a subject or a show or something, it's always normally the butt of a joke. Either it's some ratchet shit showing, you know, the ratchetness of black culture, you know, or it's the same gangster story. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, we got to start giving some other options and other perspectives and narratives and images.
Yeah, we got to start taking things seriously.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Just start taking things serious. We see it on Facebook. We see it on these different things where I just seen one post I seen a couple of posts that was sad. And if you go on my page, and I think I'm going to post it on the Moving Target, so you could see they got the drag queen sitting up there in a school. I'm not saying nothing against if you want a drag queen it all day. But notice, they took the creator out of school, or any type of thought of the creator out of school, and they got a drag queen asking the children in school who wants to be a drag queen when they get older. When they grow up, who wants to be a drag queen?
I want to also...
it's crazy.
Tanisha, you're right. We are entertained. Yeah, we're driven by entertainment, not education. And that's the truth.
A minstrel show.
I'm all for the entertainment.
That's what it's called.
But as soon as the other side gets put in, it's like, come on. And that's because we've been eating so much bad food for so long. Our eyes, our mind can't even take in healthy food because we've been eating garbage for so long.
Don't want it.
And it's the truth.
Tastes good.
So let me just say this, though. I don't want to just get on, and we got Barbara Fair coming in and other people coming in to talk more about what happened at the rally, but I don't want to get on just where we are. We know where we need work. We know where we need to develop. However, this is a solution that I want to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a week straight episodes, okay? There's going to be an episode for each day. Each day, we are going to have experts come on the show that are involved in all the areas that will help us become self-sufficient and build our own society. Mm-hmm. They're going to give us step-by-step ways to do it. And when I talk about the areas, I mean, number one, food. How do we use these community gardens for our benefit, where we can actually feed ourselves? If you look up Ron Finley, okay, he's out in Compton. Ron Finley, he's called the Gangster Gardener. He's been able to look at how much use of gardening that he could do in California, and broke down the numbers on how many people he can feed if we all planted there. And so he started that movement.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful. We can do the same thing here. And it's been done in other towns. So there's the community gardens. How do we use that for our food? All right? When it comes to education, how do we make our own schools? There's a way to do it. So on the next day, we will have principals on there. We will have educators on there to show us how we can really create our own school. All right? And for Wednesday, Tanisha, you're right. You said something about the community being damaged. Health. Mental health. Let's get the doctors in here. Let's get the nurses in here from our community to talk about how we can better help ourselves. And I'm talking about Western. I'm talking about those that use energy healing. Come on, man. We're the originators of that. You understand what I'm saying? We can do that. We have all the remedies, but we always want to say, to that, you know, that weird stuff Let me go to the doctors and get their stuff.
No, this is actual, factual, what y'all are getting, what we getting given right now.
So then we also got jobs. You know, let's get the people who are entrepreneurs in here. Let's get the people who deal with numbers and accountants. Let's show us how we can economically become more successful. You know, clinicians for mental health. And then on Friday, on that Friday, we'll come down to also our moral teachings. You know what I'm saying? Exactly when it comes to pastors, imams. Where are we going to get our history and our spiritual understanding from for ourselves? How are we going to unite more on that? So the whole thing about that is that idea is just to give you a clear vision, step by step, of exactly how we can create a society within a society. We're going to do it all week. So give us a couple weeks. We're going to be putting that together. But that's one way that we can share our solution, you know, that we can provide a solution. But we need to mobilize, and we need to really stop playing with that. It's time.
It's time.
The signs have been pointing to it. It's time. Stop complaining. Stop sitting back, bashing everybody else for thinking this, or forget all that. Let's step back. Let's look at ourselves and see exactly how we are acting. This is going to change internally. That's where revolution takes place. Those days of protesting are done. The revolution is in the mind, and I cannot make you change your decision. I cannot make you follow what we provide for you that week. You got to make that decision. And if you choose not to, then you know where you stand. Don't call anybody else a hater. Don't do it. Because you chose not to say, you know what can I do for my part?
That's right.
What can I do?
That's right.
You chose not to do that. Then you a hater. You're not on my side. You're not fighting with me.
That's right.
So, that's my rant. I want to
That's my rant.
That's my rant. I want to just go in a couple comments before we introduce our guests. Kenya Fenner, shout out to you. It starts from knowing our history from slavery days. Example, we African Americans, in quotes, celebrate 4th of July. How many of our children know the true history of Independence Day? Another one is
4th of July.
No doubt. 4th of July. Another one is Black Friday, shopping. How many of our children were taught the history behind that? Absolutely. We got to do the history. Photos by Dexter. Money is in the medicine, not the cure. Have to go back to Big Mama and the earth for healing. Yes. Yes. And we do have Nova Slam. He will be coming on. It's been a struggle getting him here, but he is going to be coming here. If you don't know Nova Slam, look up his mother, Queen Afu. She's unbelievable, and she is a healer. They are practitioners in healing. My cousin Xavier Kemp is a practitioner in healing. This is real. It's real. Western medicine would never want us to actually be mindful, meditate, and take some of these practices on because they'd be out of business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be out of business. Right? So, nevertheless, I want to introduce special guest, Mother Barbara Fair. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to put the camera over on
Definitely.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
Got you. Oh, yeah, you camera ready?
Always. For sure.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. First, I just want to acknowledge you just for what you've done in the community.
For a
Thank
long
you.
time, you know, and a lot of us young men, you know, helping raising us. A lot of us young men, giving us, and young women. Mother Barbara Fair does her thing. You know, that's what she does her thing on every level. And it's a blessing to have you here. It's all love and respect all the time. And Mother Fair was definitely at the rally downtown.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
Let's go through that. So, I mean, at one point, you and your son, like, y'all were right next to me at one point, and then all of a sudden it just got crazy. So what happened?
Someone noticed that the supremacists were across the street in front of City Hall with their flag and stuff, and so everybody started moving in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the supremacists kind of like got a little scared and started running, and so they came to the other side of the green. So we went over there. So I kind of got up in their face and I said, well, what did you come here for? What did you think you were getting ready to bring to New Haven Green?
Right.
And they, said, oh, no, we were here to support. I said, support us how? Oh, no, our group has, we have Puerto Ricans, we have black people, and we have gays, everybody in our group. I said, really? I said, and I think we would have kind of believed that more if you had brought some of those people with you.
Right.
So I can't remember the rest of the conversation, but me being naive, trusting, and as I always do, I trust people till they show me that they can't be trusted. And so I actually believe that maybe he really was this group, this multicultural group, and he wasn't down here and as a supremacist at all. So I shook his hand. And, I mean, within minutes, the police were all over me.
Wait a minute.
All over me.
So you shook his hand.
Yeah.
And that's when the police came in.
Yeah, all of a sudden they swarmed on me. And see, because I'm standing there talking with these guys, I wasn't aware that police were rolling up on me. I haven't seen the video, but people are saying you can see in the video where they was rolling up on me. I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
So all of a sudden I get this push, and I'm saying, why are you pushing me? All these people here in the park. Then I turn around, a brother. I said, yeah, it would be a black man. And when I said that, arm right up, then his goons came over and they just, tried their best to, get me in cuffs.
This goes right to the heart as well. This goes right to the heart of us strategizing and know exactly what we're doing when we're going different places, and things to that nature. We could call this a quote-unquote test run because I felt a personal way about that because of who I am, and the creator knows I feel bad about them even being able to put their hands on you if I was anywhere around. And it goes to the heart of the actual chaos that we were around and that we were in, because it was like, we're there, and there's so much chaos around us. You with somebody, you lose sight of people. It was just, real mayhem. It was
happened.
Real bad.
Because when they swooped up on me, my son and daughter was down there. They weren't even aware that it happened. Because, like I said, it was so much going on around us. These people were throwing smoke bombs. They're punching people. Yeah. They had the paint that they were throwing. Yeah. They had the brass knuckles. They came ready for war. I wasn't aware of none of that because I wasn't part of the planning, so I had no knowledge any of this stuff was gonna happen. So my son and daughter, they kind of walked off and they were walking around, and all of a sudden, when the police swarmed on me, and maybe because they seen them walk off, and then someone said, they're taking Barbara, and then my son and daughter heard them, and I seen them come running. That scared the mess out of me because I said, oh, my God. I told my kids, I said, you know what? I didn't do anything, but I'm going. I don't give them any reason to put their hands on you because I know that's what they want to do. So just let me go. Right. And so they, stayed to the side.
For a lot of people that don't know, we and, Mother Barbara Fair, we stand against hate. We stand against injustice. We are peaceful, loving people, and we just don't stand, but we're fearless. Mm-hmm. We're fearless. Mm-hmm. We fear nothing but the Creator. So when the opposition comes, they gotta understand what they're facing. Yeah. We're not, quote unquote, we ain't going out like that. Mm-hmm. So when I understand the fear that you felt looking at your children,
and knowing that they dropping our kids every day and being justified in doing so.
And you yourself had many encounters with the police.
Well, actually, that goes to shout out to Salam Muhammad, who said that you were targeted.
Yeah. It was obvious. Yeah. It was obvious. I haven't seen the film because it's been, I'm just still trying to process being manhandled. I've never been through that before, and so I'm still like processing that emotion. So I haven't looked at the videos. Mm-hmm. But my kids said if you look at the video, you'll see them rolling up on you. And they said you're not even aware of what's going on. You talking to them guys, and they're rolling up on you. And so and it just took a push, and then they was all over me.
What did you think about the fact this Antifa group? I had no idea who these people were with the masks. The ones that were
I don't know either. Yeah.
Did you know about that group? Even when you saw them there, did you know what that group was?
No, I still don't. Because I wasn't part of the planning, which is another thing. Mm-hmm. The police automatically assumed that I organized it. I didn't.
Do you know who organized it?
It was some white lady.
Yeah, it was Natalie Alexander.
Surge.
Have you ever heard of her?
Oh, Surge. Okay.
So Surge. So that is the
Surge,
name
that is
they're
the
going
group.
to. Are
Yeah.
you familiar with this group?
Oh yeah.
Let's.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What's your name, sis?
CJ.
CJ. So explain to us more about Surge.
Surge is showing up for racial justice. It's supposed to be a group of white people who will use their privilege to safeguard the interests of people of color and immigrants. I was actually invited to the organizing meeting. For this.
Okay.
And we're very close friends. And this breaks my heart because at the meeting, I specifically said, what will be the plan for de-escalation when the police show up and we are there? Okay? We are there.
No doubt.
Because they're talking about using balloons and silly string and blowing bubbles. And I said, listen, that's great.
Blowing bubbles.
This was to emasculate these men. I said, okay, that's great. But what are you going to do when the police show up and see us there? I was told by Natalie, don't worry about it.
Wow.
On the day of, that's why I was running around scouting. There were actually Nazis on the scene with weapons. Okay? One had a knife, two had knives, one had a bat. I was actually telling Barbara before we got in here, that while she was being arrested on one side of the green, myself and a couple of the comrades were on the other side of the green, challenging the 4 Nazis who were trying to come in.
Okay, so where all the commotion was on one end, but on the other side, there were actual Nazis. Or were they the Proud Boys? Which group was it?
They were a Nazi group. I don't know which one of the Nazi groups they are. Okay. I can't tell you.
Okay.
I just know that we were over there, and the cops were there, and we said, listen, they have weapons. And, the cop looked at us and said, well, did you approach them? We're like, they have weapons.
Right.
They're coming towards us. What are you doing?
Wow.
So I didn't want to leave. There was Monteith was over there. I'm not going to leave him there. In the midst of all of that, after they decided to leave, right, someone said, Barbara just got arrested. So I ran from one end of the green to the other to see Dramise on a stretcher. Okay? This is what I was trying to tell them when we were in this organizing meeting. You guys talking about emasculating these men. What the hell are you going to do when the police show up? Because they're not going to arrest you.
Right.
So are you an actual member of Surge?
No.
Okay, let's make that clear.
Okay.
No, well, I
They're
can't.
all white group.
They're all white. The
Okay.
the anti-fascist group,
Right.
and Surge are all white. And that's why myself and Carrie Ellington, we kept raising that point. What are you going to do when the police show up? Because they're not going to arrest you on your silly string.
And their response was, we'll take care of it.
They said, don't worry about it.
Not even we'll take care of it, just don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
So again, we got this group, and they're down there being the savages that we're supposed to protest against, the savagery and the hate. And on top of it, they out there with Black Lives Matter signs.
Yes, because
Yeah, explain that. Why do they have Black Lives Matter?
because that's one of the groups that they are affiliated, like, that's one of their core causes, they will say, that they fight for Black lives. Here's my thing, and I was on their page all day today, right? Because how the hell are you going to take up Black Lives Matter signs and 2 Black lives were almost lost on Saturday?
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
Right.
How are you going to say that you're about us when you left them there? Okay?
And they were and after it was all said and done, they were dancing to Justin Timberlake "Can't
Yes.
Fight the Feeling."
Wow.
Like they
Yes.
just had a nice little trip.
By the water fountain.
That's what I told you.
By the water fountain.
She's over there in the paddy wagon, and they're over there by the phone, like the phone's supposed to do something.
And I said it to him as well. I told him, I said, y'all need to put them signs down.
Yes.
Because you'll never understand the fight of a black man and a black
You know
woman
what I said to
and a
them?
person of color in this country.
This is what I've been saying to them since Saturday. I'm not taking it back. White people need to stop using us as collateral damage.
Yes.
Straight up.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
You wanted us there, so we'll take the fall,
Yes.
okay? And she did, because I watched 7 videos yesterday. Every single angle, you see the police coming closer and you see the white people moving away.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Wow.
What
And
is
let me
that?
ask you this: where you were when you said that the 4 there were like 4 Nazis or that group,
Yes.
whoever it was, with weapons.
Yes.
Were there cops around them?
Yes. We
So
went
they
up
were
to...
protected.
They were protected, just like the Proud Boys were escorted.
Yeah, they
Come on,
escorted
cops
the
and
Proud
Klan
Boys
go
to
hand in
their
hand,
car.
brother.
Oh, yeah. They go hand
Listen,
in
let me
hand.
explain something. I'm not from here, okay? I am from Trinidad. Where I'm from, these white people are the minority. I don't owe them shit. Do you understand? I don't care. You showing up for racial justice, you show up for racial justice. You want to be Antifa and kill each other, you do that. But don't bring us to your party like that. We had no idea it was going to get this violent. And what's making me mad at New Haven right now, we are so conditioned that all we had to hear was 2 black people got arrested and we assumed them guilty.
And that's it.
And that's it. End of story.
I want to just acknowledge Levi Lewis, shout out to Pastor Lewis, who said that's why we need to know who we get involved with and who we are allowed to get down with us. And that's true, brother, but we didn't know.
We didn't know.
And
we did not.
And we didn't get down with nobody.
Nah,
No,
that's
We
another
sure
thing.
didn't.
And we didn't get down
And
with
another big problem is even when they had this, when they were planning all this and talking about, these people coming down to New Haven Green, where was our people?
That's right.
Right.
Where was our people?
So do we know that that this was actually leaked by the New Haven police? They got a tip, and we got this firsthand as well, so this is factual. New Haven police got a tip
They
that
claimed
the
they didn't.
KKK was going to be on the green.
And they claimed they didn't know.
And
The
they-
mayor didn't know either.
Well,
See?
New Haven did get a tip, and then that was leaked, I guess, amongst them, and somehow it got out to the public. I know I saw just one of my guys on Facebook put it up. You know what I'm saying? Like a joke. I don't think KKK was even the word. I think somebody heard Nazi and then thought KKK because they think that's the same thing. 2 totally different organizations. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the police got the information, leaked it, and again, we need our facts right.
So let me ask, Mother, what would you suggest? And this question will go to both of y'all. What would you suggest? How do we moving forward from here? What's our strategy from here when it's coming, come to these things? And
First of all, I think we have to spend time being united. How many black men do we have in the city of New Haven who would be standing up to protect the black women?
okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
That's a big question for me.
Where were the gangbangers on Saturday?
In fact,
The thugs, where were they?
last week we had a powerful discussion with in regards to some of the violence that's going on and just where we are as a people and strategy. And one of the things that Brother Bourne was speaking about was having a hotline where it's something that we know and that where women can call and say, I've been hit, I've been abused, I've been molested, and the brothers handle that. We handle that. Almost making the message known, letting the message be known to women, we got y'all. But truth be told, where do we show that example?
Nowhere.
Yo, real
Where do we show that example
Right.
that we really are here to protect y'all and send that message? This was an opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
This
Because I
might-
don't want to be on the front line by myself,
You shouldn't.
but I just feel, what am I going to do? Just let injustice happen and I sit at home baking cookies? No, I got to be out there.
First of all, the organizers of this event, whoever, because right now both those groups are fighting with each other as to who is more wrong than who. My answer to that is, this is what I want to see. The African Americans paid the price 400 years ago, right? Ever since that, have been held accountable for any and everything.
Yeah.
This time, let the white people be held accountable. I don't care which one of you all do it. Be accountable for what happened on that green
That's right.
on Saturday.
That's right.
End of story.
That's right.
As far as New Haven goes, even if it was a rumor, even if you weren't sure, there should have been enough black men
Yes.
on that green
Yes.
Absolutely.
because they were circling before they actually parked. All right? We instilled the fear. Why weren't you there?
Absolutely.
What message did we send?
Nothing.
The fact that they come and we're not there.
I do want to be clear on this though. Is that one thing I want to be clear on is that we can't really pose the question where were the gangbangers at and where were they. My humble opinion is
That's fair enough.
I feel like it's hard for us to pose that question because if they had any wherewithal to they wouldn't be out there gangbanging.
Right.
So it's like this whole thing right now is above their heads. We can't speak to the quote unquote righteous-minded thinking, civilized thinking men and women. We could pose this question to them. You know, where everybody at? You know, where everybody at that, you know, we got a lot of us that stand up and, you know, put the black fist in the air and this, that, and the third, but nobody's around.
Or when something happens in another city or state, we flood timelines with the articles and the this and Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Just for example, on Saturday, all these people told me if I was there, this I would do that, I would do that. Shut up, you weren't there.
You weren't
Right.
there.
End
Right.
of story.
I want to also look at so Sean Reeves. Shout out to Sean Reeves. He said, "What's up, Mother Fair?"
Hi.
We don't have any gatekeepers. We don't have any community leaders to guide our youth, our males nor females. He also said, we speak about gangbangers and these street thugs. This is not their priority, and that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? That it's just not their priority. It
But
doesn't.
how do we organize them so it does become their priority?
Now
So that they realize the value of who they are and who we are as a people, so that we wouldn't want to hurt each other. How do we work on that? Because we need to work on that. How do we get the churches involved? I mean, has the government silenced them with these faith-based initiatives? I mean, there's plenty of black men around that could have been out here helping this cause, and not just starting Saturday, but where have you been all these years?
All these years.
Because you know what? We're so used to being treated like collateral damage, we treat each other like collateral damage. Okay?
Yeah.
We believe the history that's taught to us. That's the problem. We don't question the book. We say, okay, if it's on Facebook, it has to be true. If it's this, it has to be true. We have been conditioned, okay?
Look at the story.
Told. Yes.
Look at the story that the police spokesman put out right from the beginning. He put out this story saying that I was arrested because I broke through a police barrier and tried to prevent them from
Really?
arresting my nephew.
Really?
See, that's the
And how many people believe that?
Yeah.
Didn't even question that.
Right.
It took the videos for them to see that didn't
That's
happen,
right.
for them to say, oh my God, look what happened to Miss Barbara. Otherwise, well, you know, that she did that, she's crazy like that. I can hear him now. She does that kind of stuff.
And see, this is the reason why.
And police chief or New Haven Police Department spokesman, you a liar.
Yeah, for real.
Y'all are all
And you know
liars.
what?
You got
And you know
four
what?
tongues.
This is the reason why we have to change the narrative, y'all. This is whoever posts the article. Look at who it is. Look
That's
who
right.
posts the article.
That's right.
Look who the author is, and go into their background. Like we said, the creator. I don't know if were they here yet when we were talking about the Proud Boys.
No.
So the founder of the Proud Boys is Gavin McInnes, who is definitely a racist. You know, you can look him on YouTube going on plenty of racist rants, but also owner of Vice Media Group. Ain't that something? The group that depicts nothing but negative imagery of black people. I haven't seen successful upward mobility stories or anything like that. So we need our own media, because look how quick they try to put that narrative.
We support our own media.
Yes.
And what did our black chief say when they put that story out? Did they believe that that's what I did, or did they question it?
Yeah.
And
Right.
where is the black chief anyway? Because I haven't got a call or anything. Myself and my nephew were assaulted by several of their officers. Where's the black chief speaking out on that? Calling, asking how are we doing?
Right.
Where's the black mayor who did a press conference about Saturday and didn't even mention the assault on me and my nephew?
Right.
So, you know, I'm a little perturbed with our black leadership that we have right here in this city.
Right. Absolutely. And we have been for a long time.
And let's talk
We have
about
been
that.
for a long
Who
time.
is, if we were going to point towards some of the leaders that we have here, who is it?
Well, many of the church leaders, I'm assuming that's what people say. I don't call them leaders because when I'm in Hartford fighting for legislation or up in the police department fighting against, I don't see none of them. So I don't know, but I assume people would think, you know, pastors are part of the black leadership.
Right.
It's the question, who are the leaders when the cameras are on or off?
There you go.
Because
When the
it
cameras
changes.
are off.
When the camera's off, you gotta look.
And leaders on what level?
That's right.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Leaders
And
on
what
leaders
time?
on what level? And
Yeah.
who are y'all the leaders of? Y'all the leaders, like we said, when the camera's on and this is who they're depicting to be the leader, they're not the leader of us.
Right.
They're not the leader of the people that are spilling blood out here in the streets, getting arrested and getting, you know, and dealing with these different, our children out here going crazy. They're
Right.
not the leaders of
No.
us.
They too
No.
busy working with the devil.
That's right.
Right. Or just working with getting their church size bigger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's unfortunate.
Got a tie.
10%.
And listen, go ahead, Influence. Shout out to Influence.
Peace, how you
Speaking to
doing?
this mic right here, brother.
I think that's part of the bigger problem that we have to understand. In everything, there's a hierarchy. So when you speak of leaders, when you speak of leaders, just like your government, there's leaders on different levels. There's street soldiers, there are leaders for the young men that are not outside their community. Then you go to the next level. Then you have people who are outside their community that are organizers. And then you go to the next level. And then you have leaders, you know what I'm saying, so forth and so on. So when you speak of leaders, myself, Rem, you, we're leaders on a certain level. So we do have leaders. And to some aspect, some of our clergymen are leaders in some respect. Because some of us don't have the proper rhetoric to speak in front of them cameras. So so even though they're not part of what we're actually doing, they can convey the message.
Yeah.
I see.
But they can show up.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like shout out to, I will say the one that I know of is Pastor Lewis. I always see him doing some
Absolutely.
work.
And to the detriment of our people, in the situation, as drastic as the situation has been, really, it's like, where are they at? I've seen Pastor John Lewis. I've seen it's a couple of them, and I apologize for forgetting their names. I seen them out there, but really, like, it's churches on every corner. It's black men on every corner in their houses. You know, we had a lot of them. We used to tell, come out and help us. We out here walking, we talking to the youth, come out here and help us. They don't want to help. Then shots go through your window. Now it's like, whoa, what's going on? Now, you know.
If you think, all right, let me ask you this: if the word was out clear as day, neo-Nazis coming, KKK might be coming, or whatever. If that word was out, that rumor was out, do you think we'd have a better turnout?
No, because he didn't have Jordans. So you need to have the Jordans so they can line up down the street. Okay.
I really don't like that comment, because here's why. I think you would have a better turnout. You may not have the people that you want to be there, but I do think you have a better turnout, because a lot of the young people that I follow or that follow me were outraged that they didn't know about it, that they couldn't go down there, that they couldn't let their voice hear. I had one person on Facebook say that more so that on the side of the white supremacist group, saying they have the right to organize. You're right, they do. This is America, but I have the right to oppose them. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of young people out here really do want it to be out there, do want to be out there. Now the older ones, it's a little different, because they have other things that's connected to them that they're worried about. I got to feed my family. I can't go to jail. I can't do this. I can't do that. Because the contrary to popular opinion, when everyone talked about the police being down there protecting the white supremacists, you have to understand why they said that. Because when we organize, it's more like they're attacking us. So that's why we feel the different things that we feel. That's why it looked like they were protecting the white supremacists down there. Because technically, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to protect their rights to protest or to organize.
Or whoever's being attacked.
Exactly.
So that's why they grabbed up me, swooped up on me.
So that was you in the green.
Yeah.
Okay, because I seen it. I'm like, yo, why do they have her? Because
Everybody's asking that question.
I was like, why do they have you? I had no idea.
Did
like,
absolutely nothing.
And you know what I'm saying?
It's simple as that. I mean, you're saying that on the green. Here's the thing: we should be showing up every day. We wake up in melanin.
I agree.
This shouldn't be a no-brainer.
But everybody's not the same. But everybody does not have the same fight in them. You have soldiers. Just for instance, everyone can't be the chief. So you have Indians that's going to follow you, but they're not going to follow you until you actually step out there. You may have 10 Indians behind you. It would be a great idea to have everybody come out and for the fight, but we know that's not going to happen. Right. When you talk about ministers, one of the reasons why ministers don't come out, because they old school and they're scared, dog. They scared of their own kids. They're scared.
But I guess where I get messed up at, and I get it. I understand why the optimism just is completely not there as far as what our people will do. But I stop there because I'm like, damn, will it ever happen if we're already thinking, y'all won't do that? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? How do we get past that? How do we get past the the pessimistic, cynical attitude, which I understand.
It's not pessimistic, Jay. You just have to organize. Some people need to be led. So therefore, if you got 15 dudes that's gonna follow you, Rem, you a leader. Jay, there's 15 to 20 dudes that's gonna follow you. You're a leader. Me, so forth, and you two young ladies here. Then we do have a whole team. Everybody behind us will follow us, but everybody can't be a leader. So everybody's not going to step out off that cliff. You'll step off the cliff because you know I got a 50% chance I'm gonna land on my feet. They're saying, you know what, I got 50% chance I'm going to fall on my head. You know what I'm saying? So you're the leader that's going to go out there. That's the difference. You have to realize everybody is not a leader.
Go ahead, Mother.
Well, some of the problems I have, there was a time when pastors would come out and they would join in the fight with me. And then I would start hearing people say, "Oh, she's too radical. She's too crazy. We can't join her." I mean, come on.
Right.
And then they just stop coming out. I mean, so that's a real issue for us too.
Yes.
You gotta like the person to go out and fight for the rights of our people. Come on.
That's not
And
right.
we've been doing a lot of organizing for a long time, yo.
Right.
And I think you know, it's very true. It's hard not, you know, you can't take that attitude, but it's hard not to say, yo, they're not gonna turn out, man. Where our people at, yo? They're not gonna turn out. We've been organizing for so long, and it's like, when is it that time? When does the light switch come on? Yo, it's time to go to war. Yo, where we at with it, yo?
I think we need.
It's time to go to war.
I think it needs to be much more clearer, like, because right now it's very vague, right? It's broad. We say we got to come together. We got to mobilize. We got to strategize. We got to unite. Those are big words that we got to start breaking down very little.
But what I find, people can do them things when the camera's around. What we have to learn how to do is how to come together when there's no camera around.
Absolutely.
And that's going to war. That so we know that they throw around that word jihad, and for a lot of people that might not, and they call it jihad is supposed to be holy war. The true meaning of jihad is holy war within self.
That's it.
It's within self first. It don't mean going to war on somebody else. Jihad is war within self. We gotta correct ourselves. We gotta sit at home, start taking the lives of our children seriously.
Very serious.
I mean, long range comprehensive planning. Gotta start taking the lives of our children seriously. Brothers and sisters, we gotta start being brothers to each other. Start being brothers to our sisters. The sisters being to. We gotta love each other, man.
And we got people.
We can't afford nothing else.
We got resources. I don't think people really realize how much resources we have when it comes to mental health. If we want mental health, we have clinicians right here in our community that are amazing. That will work. You know, that will take the time out. Right. That's the most important. That's the most important. We have people who are part of the gardens. Brother Bless. You know what I'm saying? I know you have, you were doing a lot of work with the gardens. You know what I'm saying? How much, really think about how much can we feed ourselves using every garden? How many gardens do you think we have in the city?
That are not being manned?
Just that are manned, yeah, just all gardens. A ballpark.
At least 80 of them.
80! 80 gardens. What can we do with that as far as business? How many kids can start planting stuff and then selling it over to Travis over at Salad Palace, get money for it, and how do we? Yeah, absolutely. Let's make it look tangible. Right now, I don't think we've brought enough plans that are, and that's why I said we're gonna do a week where each day we're gonna go over that. Each day we're gonna go over each area that we need to focus on: education,
No, I beg to
food.
differ. I think that the conversations are being had. I've been with Barbara. We've gone to Hartford, fought for solitary confinement, criminal justice, things like that. The legalization of marijuana, things of that nature. You know what it is? People got lazy. We got lazy. I don't think it's a lack of resources. I don't think it's a lack of education. We're lazy. We're conditioned.
I agree.
If it's not told for us to do it, we're trained slaves. Okay? Unless the white man says you could cross that line, we won't touch it. That's why I said on Saturday they were collateral damage. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We need to know what we're doing. We need to wake up. Those Jordans, you can't take that to your grave.
Yes, ma'am.
Your energy goes with you.
I feel like at this point, what, and thinking about what we're all sitting here saying, that what we want to do now is real talk. Let's put a list together. I mean, and every, and we want everybody to understand that, we don't know everything. We got to do our own
Right.
research.
There we go.
Everybody,
Right.
it got to be a collective thing.
Absolutely.
So we on our level going to put a list together of the men and the women that we know. If there's any men and women that want to be part of this, then we ask you to share your comments. Let us know so we can put a list together and start literally making a call and have one organized meeting to where we all sit down together and try to map out exactly what our steps are going to be to start some type of serious movement. And, of course, Moving Target Podcast is going to carry that. It's going to be the platform.
But check this out.
you know,
This out. One main thing is, the only thing that you would have to understand is it's not about you.
That's it.
Egos at the
All
door.
this
Egos
stuff is
at the
much
door.
bigger than
This
ourselves.
isn't to get your organization huge or nothing. This is, hey, I do this. Let me help. I do
All
this.
topics are on the table, including immigration.
Absolutely.
All of it.
All topics. And we all have something. Shout out to Sean Reeves, Sports Academy.
All day.
Come on, man.
Yeah, all day.
Brother Born, CTRBG, feeding the babies in the morning on that Saturday.
Pancake
you know what
breakfast.
I'm saying? I mean, we plan that, even though I want to make an announcement that the Stop the Violence basketball game will not be this Saturday. It's the 29th, I believe.
Absolutely.
So I want to make that clear. But if it was this Saturday, I had the pancake breakfast to go to bring my daughter to. Then I had the basketball event after that to go to, and then poetry and politics that evening where we're gonna talk about strategy and all these other things. So I mean, there's things right here. It's just like Rem said. What if we just had it more organized where we all come under one hood? What's the hood? Our city.
But
That begins with us loving each other.
Absolutely.
Love each other.
Love it.
We got to.
And recognize the power that we have.
Yes. Recognize our ability. Come on.
You know, people gonna show themselves, and go ahead, fan influence, but everybody gonna show themselves. You gonna show what you here for. When you have, listen, not for nothing, I know a lot of people. I have a very large family. I know a lot of people. So I got people on my list who I think, if I'm going to war, who I'm gonna call this, that, and the third. Like real. I'm talking about going to war because I am at this stage in my life, and it's been a long time. I am prepared to give my life for the cause of my people, and you could call me on that.
They ready.
New Haven Police, you could call me on that. I'm ready to give my life. The haters, the savages, I am ready to give my life for the movement of my people, of our children. Let's not make no mistakes. So, Miss Barbara Fair, Mother Barbara Fair is one of the ones I would call to go in an alley with
believe
me.
that.
And I wouldn't call her.
Spirit.
But hold on, understand, she wouldn't hesitate, and I wouldn't call her.
But there's a few brothers I'll
But
call her over.
You gotta, for
I'll tell you
real.
that.
That's the point. That's the point. You gotta understand what we dealing with. So with that being said, whoever's not for this, whoever's not with us, they gonna show themselves.
Yeah.
I tell my daughter all the time, man, and she can attest to this.
Yes, sir.
Believe people when they show you who they
That's
are.
right.
That's right.
Don't believe their words. Believe their actions.
That's
Their
right.
actions tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And when you were to go back a little bit, when you were talking about when is it going to click for people, when I realized the ideologies that I have is when I had to fight for the labor union in 2007, when I went all the way to Washington D.C. with 1199, and we fought against Yale in the disparagement of the hospital. I realized at that point that there's going to have to be a point with leaders, and there's going to have to be a point where everybody follows, because everyone talked a good game. But when they got time and I came to step out there was only about 5 people at that point in time that actually stood out there with me. There was only like 5 people that took that flight with me to Washington D.C. You know what I'm saying? And when they got time to actually organize, people started dropping off because of the disparagement stuff that Yale did. They didn't want to stay into the fight. Even our young people at that time, you had young people that were saying, "Oh, I make $1,200 every 2 weeks." To them, that was a lot of money, so they didn't want to sabotage that and potentially lose their job, not knowing that we trying to take that $1,200, make it $2,400.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That instant gratification.
Exactly. And
You were
people,
bought.
right? And people who were there for 15 years. They're working right next to someone that's doing the same job at university, making double what they make, but they still don't want to fight. They're making $15. The person doing the same job next to you work for university, they're making $30, and you don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so the light, I still believe that there has to be leaders. This room can lead a bunch more people.
Are we in a leader era? I feel like we've already seen the example of leadership. It's time to call on those spirits and embody them and move with that. We've seen it.
But the
What else do we need?
mindset is going to take specific individuals. Everybody don't have the mindset.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, people have their own idea about the Jay-Z album coming on. But
don't get me started.
okay, but but for some people, some of the things he's talking about, you have to have lived a certain thing and have a certain mindset to even understand what he's talking about. And so I got a lot of young dudes like, oh, that's whack, this and this and that, because it's not of what the generation is of now. You have to have a certain mindset. And what we're talking about is collecting the spirit to connect to the mindset to put forth a movement.
Right.
So that's where we at with that.
And that's one of the biggest tools. Say that again.
You want to take the spirit to connect with the mindset to create your movement.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
That's right.
and that's pretty much
So-
what it is.
And you got to know it's a movement. It's not a moment. It's a movement,
It's a
which
movement.
means we in
Yes.
it for a long haul.
Right, right.
And you
We're
got to
not
be
doing-
prepared for that.
Right.
And you got to know that when you do this stuff, you putting your life at risk.
Right.
Yeah.
Like different people were saying to me, you know, they've seen me today. Oh, how you doing? Oh, you know, I said I'm a warrior. They ain't did nothing. I said they could break my bones, but they ain't broke my spirit.
Absolutely.
And that's the way I roll.
No doubt.
I love it.
But,
You know, one of the biggest things we gotta focus on, you know, in my opinion, is health and education, health and re-education.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we are, and to me, that's one of the big education. Because we don't know what we doing, who we are. And again, I was just talking about, so education, did you hear when we were saying that the head of the Proud Boys, who he was, the owner of Vice News?
Yeah.
Is it, you know what I'm saying?
About that
So,
that night,
come
right.
on, man. This is the movements. They had the drag queen in a Brooklyn school talking about who wants to be a drag queen when you get older.
Wow.
This
But
is
here-
what they're teaching the
But
children.
here's the thing about that.
Mhm.
You can't blame the establishment for that. Who you have to blame, what you talked about before, you have to blame the parents for allowing their children to go.
Right.
Well, the
True,
reason,
true,
but it goes
true.
bigger. It always goes to the establishment. Here's the reason why I say
You
that.
can't, that's just like saying, that's just like saying parents aren't responsible. I'm responsible for what, for
I'm not.
my
No, it's
children.
not to say parents aren't responsible. What I'm saying is that they're
But we are
the machine.
responsible.
No.
We
I'm.
keep sending our kids to these schools and allowing, again, like Malcolm said, if we're going to allow the enemy to teach our children,
What do you expect?
Agreed.
this is going to be our
Yeah, I didn't say they weren't responsible. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that we cannot let up not one bit on the establishment before the parents. The reason being is because the establishment is what feeds the propaganda. The propaganda is what conditions the mind. And so if our parents and generations coming up are conditioned, it's the same way you said, what about the mind? How are we going to get into here? We can't expect the parents to actually think opposite of what the machine has already programmed us to think.
Do you think opposite of what the program?
I do. That's only because I do my due diligence. But
Okay, so
but
that's
this is the same reason why
On a
I show.
massive level.
But this is on a massive
On
level.
massive level.
We could easily go with individuals. I know somebody that could say, look, my Aunt Sally smoked.
You have to understand.
But hold up,
Everybody has the
listen.
Cognitive ability to do so. That's
No,
why that's my problem.
but my point is saying that is when you say we can't look at the establishment, we have to because the inability.
No, I'm not saying we can't. What I'm saying is that the first thing first is at home. My 17-year-old daughter.
How we gonna look at home if the home has already been infiltrated?
That's what we talking. We talking about on a massive.
I'm just saying
level.
on a broad sense.
Right.
So to me, there are three main ingredients to the movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emotional intelligence, perspective, and holistic thinking,
Absolutely.
right? You cannot have the movement without that. We need to understand that. We need to know what emotional intelligence is. We saw the lack of that on Saturday. We need to understand what perception is. We saw the lack of that on Saturday. And holistic thinking. If it does not affect you, it still impacts you.
Absolutely.
Her getting arrested impacted all of us in here.
Absolutely.
We need to get over ourselves. We need to stop being lazy. It's not a moment. When we leave this room, we still have to, we are the movement. We have
One
to
black
embody
person
that.
per every one of the Proud Boys got arrested, it seems. That was...
Yes,
Right? So
yeah.
if they go home and study that, they say, so if we go down there 100 deep,
We
they
good.
might come 400
Do you think they're
deep.
coming back?
And out of
I
that
know they're coming
400,
back.
We can get 100 black folks banged up or arrested. Just by
Or
looking at
they looking
today.
at it like, yo, we can recruit down there because not many showed up. So
That's,
we good.
Let's just
that's
remember.
that's what I'm afraid of the message they're gonna be. Ain't too many black people showed up, so
They're gonna
you know
come
we
back.
might be able to just bring a whole lot more people and just run this city.
But also, one of the cars had Connecticut plates. Okay? Let's understand that. One of the vehicles that got escorted had Connecticut plates. Pay attention to that. right? They will come back. They felt embarrassed. Pink paint, bubbles, silly string. They're coming back.
They're coming back.
And the thing about it is this: is
Barbara
that,
Fair for mayor.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Barbara Fair for mayor.
Fair.
Hey, fair for mayor.
I
Fair
cannot
for fair.
be, I cannot be
No
Barbara
fear
Fair.
with fair.
for fair.
Let's go.
They
No
wouldn't let me in the
fear
front door
for fair.
because I'm not for
That's right.
maintaining
We
this
got you.
this
We got you.
establishment.
When is
And
the
that's
election?
generally what happens with us.
Yeah.
We get in and we maintain this system. Ain't nobody trying to work outside of it. They do things that continue to maintain it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big problems I had with the legislation that just passed around solitary confinement. We did a lot of work, put a lot of energy and everything into ending solitary confinement, not to get a little bill that does two little tweaks it a little bit. And when I think of reform, that's what
Dilute it.
reform does. It tweaks it, but it hasn't really changed anything. So I was really upset and very disappointed with the bill passing. But people were so celebrating, and I'm saying, celebrating what? We still have not done much of anything with that bill.
Yeah.
Mentally ill people will continue to go in there. The only thing they did is they said young people under 18 won't go in there, and they agreed to an annual report. No, we wanted a whole lot more than that. And that's what I'm talking about, maintaining the system. Instead of fighting the system and say, no, we're not going to accept this. I don't like the way you are so indifferent to our people, and when it comes to passing laws for us, you want to always compromise. And I said, look at the history of America. It's always been about compromise. You look at the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. That was a compromise because half of the people wanted slavery to continue, half didn't. And they said we're not going to continue as a union if we're going to have half slave and half free. So what's a compromise? Okay, we'll pass the 13th Amendment, say slavery is abolished, except if a person's in prison. So what does that mean now? We got to get all these brothers in prison so now we can enslave them. And why can't we see that? It's just beyond me.
13th Amendment of the United States, y'all. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all just hear that clear?
Yeah.
That's right.
And see, the thing is even to when we're talking about education, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the establishment. Yes, I'm woke to the establishment, corporation, the narratives that are pushed and all that, and I push that to my daughter already. You know what I'm saying? Amongst other things. And we need to be able to look at our kids who aren't necessarily our kids as our kids and educate them as well.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Because that's what it's going to take. Unfortunately, in general, on a mass level, a lot of people are only moving based off of what they're eating. And what they're eating is coming through our timeline, it's coming through the shows, it's coming through images and all this other stuff. So our best bet is to counteract with that. So when you got, you know, the drag queen coming into the school saying who wants to be a drag queen when you get older,
right?
A lot of times that's going against the going along with the narrative of be free. You know, you can be what you want to be, and you know, allowing that space for everybody. So now people will succumb to that because that's what's pushed over and over. You know what I'm saying? Unless there's somebody who's actually at home saying, well, let me show you how this even developed. Because we weren't always here.
Right.
Let me show you how we actually got to where we are right now.
Right. Right. That's very important and very true. That's very important, very true, yo. This is a very serious thing we dealing with.
So I want to just make clear though, I don't want to leave it as far as just the conflicts. I want to talk about solutions. I always like to leave on solution-based, action-based. Mother Fair, as far as what you do in the community and your approach, tell the people where they can help out. Where can they start, you know, if they wanted to do their part right now?
Well, one of the huge things for me in the black community that has had me mind-boggled for years is the war on drugs. If we look at the history of the war on drugs, Nixon had a conversation with his henchmen, and he said, you know what, the problem in America is black people and war resistors. So what we have to do is design a system that takes care of that problem without it appearing that way. So what happened? The next day he announced the war on drugs. Now look at what the war on drugs did. All it really did, as soon as we started having a little bit of civil rights, and Jim Crow was gone, what did they do? Bring in the war on drugs. War on drugs is nothing but Jim Crow in a different dress. That's all.
Come on.
And why is it that I have a every single year on June 17th, when the war's getting ready to turn another year, I have a protest downtown in New Haven. I mean, there may be some time that people didn't know about it, but I announce it every single year. June 17th, we have to get out on the street and demand an end to the war on drugs. And you know who shows up, just like in pretty much all of my protests? White people.
Right.
We're the one who impacted. Where's my people?
Irony.
That's what I don't understand. I don't know what issue people have with me.
Oh no, it's not.
I don't know what it is.
Mother, I don't think it's you.
No, it's not a you thing. That's
you
a
know what?
conditional thing.
It's my
This is what I
cognitive dissonance.
This is what I would say. I've seen you, and it's a sad thing that we haven't connected, given the fact of what I do, being in the community, being a poet, an activist, and things of that nature. It's unfortunate that we haven't connected and pulled our resources. So I'm on Facebook. I give you my card or whatever. You call me, I'm coming, and when I'm coming, I'm bringing.
Okay.
So and I don't even care if I bring 2 or 3. Hugh, like us. I'm
That's
bringing
3.
somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's a lot more, because we can't continue to have people fighting or saying they're fighting on our behalf, but we're not there for our own behalf. You know, that just can't keep happening.
And so that's definitely. I want to just shout out a few people that actually are chiming in and adding to the solution-based segment right now. Levi Lewis, at the end of the day, we must all unify. We have to put our differences aside and call the soldiers, and let's do what we do. That's true. You know what I'm saying? And again, Rem and I are gonna really put together this week-long episode each day. We are gonna bring you experts in each field of what we need to be self-sufficient. I mean, we're gonna bring Black Wall Street alive. Influencer, you know, I've talked to you a lot about Black Wall Street. And we've had this discussion, and you know, we've gone back and forth on it, but I believe it. I believe we could do it. It's just because I see so many people in all the different areas that you deal with the gardening, you deal with the technology, because make no mistake about it, we need to get in Silicon Valley. We have no presence in Silicon Valley. These young kids got app ideas. We should have a big pot of money to be able to support their apps. So Silicon Valley don't snatch them up. They come from our community. We need scientists. We need innovators. We need engineers. You know what I'm saying? So let's really, we're going to put this episode, this week-long episode together. Each day, if you want a step-by-step plan on what you would need to do, you can tune in. And you and Mother Fair and everybody else, please use us as a platform to post on the page, inbox us of everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, we need soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, and I think on that level, we need to start really getting back in our communities. Like,
Definitely.
hard body.
Yes.
If
You
y'all
remember
want...
when I used to have the community meetings every single month? I had a community
Absolutely.
meeting to bring people together to talk about different issues.
Absolutely.
But, you know, after a while, when you see most of the people who come out are white, that's not who I'm trying to organize.
Right.
So after a while, I said, you know, after about a year, I said, you know, why
Right.
am I still doing this?
Right.
We need to have more. Like, I go to court on the 19th. My white supporters have already called. What can we do? We're going to do mass civilian complaints. We're going to talk to the mayor. We're going to talk to the police department. Where's my black people?
Right.
What are they going to do?
Right.
And NAACP called me. I didn't call them.
Wow.
They're going to be there on the 19th press conference. So I'm hoping that we'll have a lot of people to show up. We have to send a message to this police department, the 19th. We have to send a message to this police department. We will not tolerate their brutality at all.
Nah, not at all.
And I do it as a message from our community, because God knows I'm gonna take care of me.
So
I ain't worried about that.
Everybody to know that's listening, that you got to start from somewhere. You know, we got to start from somewhere. The line, what we say we doing, we drawing the line right now in the
That's
sand.
it. The line's in the sand.
Thick as you can see it. The line is drawn. That we are not accepting no more savageness.
That's it.
Not only by the hands of the opposition, as far as the
But ourselves.
even ourselves.
Which is the
that's-
opposition.
We're
Which
not
means
accepting
we have
that.
to start
So
providing resources. It's good to tell the kids, don't stand in the corner, but what are we providing them?
Absolutely.
We have to work on providing something for our young people so that they know that they matter. Because if we don't, then they think they don't matter, and if they don't matter to themselves, they're certainly not going to matter to anybody else.
And let's think outside the box too, y'all. Entertainment is great, but we entertainment don't move.
right.
You know what I'm saying? We need to move. You know what I'm saying? We need to move. So,
Right.
real talk, let this be a platform. And as far as leaving on the police brutality note, we are going to be continuing, but we have a special guest that's going to chime in. And if everybody has access to their phones, I need you to hashtag Justice for Kareem. Because there's a young man, 30 years old.
30 years old. It's my cousin, 30 years old, out in Columbus, Ohio. And he was just murdered by the police. He died this morning. Friday, he was shot by the police 2 times in the back, 2 times in the back of the neck, 1 time in the back of the arm. It was only 2 cops, 1 time in the back of the arm. Then he was laying on the ground begging for his life, and they shot him in the face.
Wow.
This is real. My cousin is about to chime in, you know.
She's going to chime in, and we want to shed more light on it because media, you're not going to pick and choose when to make it a big story.
And they've been doing this for years, man.
Absolutely.
I got a cousin it's been over 15 years now. It's been well over 15 years in California. You know, he was running, but he was running because he didn't want to go back to jail because what happened had nothing to do with him. And he tried to climb the fence. The cops shot him in his back. My family couldn't find him for 3 days. They shot him like 17 times. The cops, they couldn't find him for 3 days. He laid in the morgue as a John Doe for 3 days.
Listen, man.
We can't let this
3 days.
continue.
No.
Real talk, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to everybody that's chiming in, everybody that can hear me, that know me, that know my voice. If you not, listen, don't call yourself my friend. I don't need no more friends. If you're not in the fight for our children and the fight for our people, if you're not willing to stand for something, I don't even want to know you no more.
That's it.
Real talk. If you're dealing with any type of buffoonery, any savageness, any type of hate, I don't want to know you no more. See, people got it confused, right? Because everybody, you know, and one of my big things is hashtag choose love. Everything is choose love. And people think that love is a soft thing. People think that love is something that's easy and love won't. Yo, the love I have for my people, the love I have for these children, I'm ready to split somebody's wig. And I'm going to say this again. It's time for us to go there. It's time to draw the line. See, I know I can't bring nothing with me. I'm going to return to the ground, my physical from which I came. And when the Creator tells me it's time to go, it's time for all of us to go. Whoever's listening right now, you might not be listening next week. I might not be here to do this show next week. I might not be here tomorrow.
This might not be the trending topic next week.
We may go at any point. So if you're not in it to fight for real, if you see me on the street, call me on it. If you're not in it for our children, that old man got pulled out of his car and beat down by a couple of young dudes and beat down, and it took some women to pull him off. Like for real, where the men at? Where the soldiers at?
And let's be real, that's how it's been years. Even back in the
Come
day,
on,
women
man.
were right there as one of the ones really supporting the whole movement. So let you know, but men were out there leading.
Shot him
You know what I'm
17
saying?
times, and I don't care if he did something.
That's right.
Yo, the police are trained. Y'all better pay attention to what's going on. I don't care if he did do something. If he's running,
He's not a
that's
threat.
giving up.
Then he's not a
He
threat.
running. How you shoot a man in his back? You could even see on the westerns, from the old westerns, the cowboys, the 6 shooters on the head. You don't shoot no man in his back. You consider the coward.
Yep.
You consider the savage. They didn't even do that then, but this is what they think they can repeatedly do. Motherfucker, I apologize for not being in position when them. I
That's real.
apologize to you.
Yeah.
I apologize
We
to
should
you
have
for not
surrounded you.
standing next
But
to
you know
you.
what? I don't blame people
Man,
like
listen.
you and others. You know why I don't blame you? Because I know what kind of place we're living in now. We're living in a nation where those cops with a gun used down, and then I got to live with that. Because this young boy said to me today, he was on the bus, and I used to counsel him. He was a kid, and he said, he said, I was in Rhode Island when I seen it. He said, I cried. He said, I wished I could have got down. He said, Mother, he said, I would have died for you that day. And I told him, I said, but then how do I live with that? How do I live with that? So we got to get to the point that we're going to come together so we can be ready to die. But not one person die and then, that's it.
Yo, it's the
We got to let them know we mean business.
We gotta be examples. For
Yeah, so we gotta come together.
Many men and many men and women before us have lost their lives. Literally, have spilled blood, have been bitten, shot, hosed down. This is not a game, man.
And let's not downplay
we need to wake it up.
Before we go out, man. Let's just not downplay it. I don't want this to be, having your own little conversations about, and brushing it off. Think about that. Think about what you're doing when you brush this off.
Yeah.
What we're talking about. When you rationalize it in your own mind, like, it's not that big of a deal. What am I going to do tomorrow? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Take this serious. All the signs point to what we need to do. The revolution's right here. That's the only place it's going to take place.
But Jay, the reason why they're doing that, is because people still have the mentality.
Oh no, I'm not questioning why.
I'm just saying.
I know why.
Mentality that they like, if it doesn't, they still don't believe that it affects them when it happens.
I know.
As long as I stay in my corner, I go to work, I do what I'm supposed to do.
I'm good.
Everything, I'm good. I'm safe.
Until
and they
it
don't
happens.
realize it happens to you. I tell my daughter, she's about. I'm terrified. She's 17. She's gonna be walking into college. Well, she turns. She's gonna be walking into college at age 17 years old. I am absolutely terrified. She wants to go all the way to Atlanta. And now people say, "Oh, well, she a female. She good." No, dude, she's not good. Cause
talking about
her name is Sandra Bland. Cause she's not good.
Stay home.
No, it's
stay home.
Yeah, I don't think the question is why they think like that, but it's still more of acknowledging the fact that I know you will. So take a moment to maybe think twice. Maybe. But if not, I'll take 10 strong, committed people than a whole bunch of flaky people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm good. Right? So, Moving Target Podcast, please hashtag Justice for Kareem, because we do have Orisha coming on next from Black Lives Matter New Haven, and also guest
Clara
Willis, who will be giving
Columbus,
us more
Ohio.
details of what happened with Kareem. And we need to bring this to light, because media is not trying to show it right now. And we need to bring it to light. All right? Moving Target Podcast. Peace.
Can I have your contact information? Scott wanted it. I don't know if he
Okay.
reached out to you yet.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
I gave him a call. Let me but I need your contact anyway.
Oh, that was excellent.
That was excellent, Straight
Thank
up.
you, thank you.
Mother Fair, thank you so much.
Sure.